So there's something I want to convey in this video, and I believe it's what the Holy Spirit is showing me about who Jesus is, who he has been in my life, and who he is in the life of people. And by the power of the Holy Spirit, may you receive this, and this isn't comforting to you or just helps you where you are. Gives you some kind of understanding of God and the person being with you, walking where you are. Because I would identify as the place that I am in is less of a physical place, but it's more of a place in my understanding. Where I'm at, he is with me. He is with me in the understanding I currently have of myself. He is with me in the darkness of what I don't know about myself yet, of what you don't know about yourself. Meaning he's in the delusion. He's in the sin. This is something where, and you don't hear me talking about Jesus personally in a lot of my videos. I don't feel like I've been able to relate to him because it seems like he was just born perfect and always knew his Father and always knew how his Father felt about him and never believed shame about himself. And I, on the other hand, right, have walked feeling forsaken by the Father and such a heavy measure of shame. So like, how is Jesus with me here? How has he been with me here? And this is something that I believe I'm receiving that's actually really moving. And it's, Jesus didn't know. He didn't know what it felt like to be forsaken by the Father until he went to the cross. You see, I think a lot of what it is to live in this life, in this world, and the suffering that comes to the believer is, it's not the truth of being forsaken by God, but it's the feeling of being forsaken by God, the feeling of shame, the feeling of I'm all alone and nobody has me. Nobody is looking after me. Nobody cares. It's because I'm defective. Whatever your like thing is, this is what I guess mine seems to be. And I'm like, how could Jesus relate with me here? He's always known how the Father feels about him. But he went and he endured and he put on the feeling so that he would know how that actually felt to us, how it feels to us, to be able to empathize in what we are going through. The suffering that you are going through, he has put on. He has put it on for me. He understands because I do not. I feel like I've been marred, disfigured. Kind of sounds familiar, right? I think in our own ways, that walking through this life with God, in our own ways, our own versions, our own measures, right? It's not all the same for everybody, but we suffer for his sake. We are marred, we are disfigured in our own way. I think this has to do with the shame. At least it has for me. And so I don't know who I'm supposed to be. And I didn't know that there was a God that was with me in that. Meaning, he has put it on because he voluntarily put it on. He's like, I must know what it feels like to be human and to experience all the things that humans experience So he couldn't just be the God who always knew how his Father felt about him. He had to become, or the man, right? The human that always knew how his Father felt about him. That's not relatable. And this is why I think I had a hard time relating to him. But he, from knowing, it's almost like he went backwards. He went backwards to like come and get us. Because where I have been is a place that I'm beyond the help of human aid. Because you could probably get me out of my physical circumstances and make me feel good in the day, but I'm in this place in my understanding where I need a measure of his presence. I need him to come get me and untangle me from all of this shame. And I think that's what he did. He went from knowing to putting on what it feels like not to know. Because if I knew what Jesus always knew fully, I wouldn't be dealing with this shame. And so I'm like, okay, how can he really meet me here? Well, it's because he comes and puts it on. He comes back. It's like he goes backwards for us. He's like, I'm not going to leave you behind. I think he will show you the impossibleness, lack of a better word or whatever, of your situation. There is a situation, a circumstance, a place that I am unable to move on from. And I'm being shamed here. And it's such a dark place. And he doesn't say, hey, here's some knowledge, here's some whatever. I'm gonna just come on, just help yourself up and let's just walk to me. But instead, it's more like he comes into the place that we're in, all confused about ourselves, all tangled up in the sin, the depravity, the shame, all the shit, right? Into the ugliest, darkest parts. And he's like, I'm going to feel what it feels like so that you can see that you have someone with you here. That takes I'm with you to a whole nother level. He's not with us from a distance. He's with us face to face. And I, in this personal, this specific season that I'm in, I need a God who is face to face with me. One where I look in the mirror and I forget who I am. I look in the mirror and I forget who I am. It's because I've been so inflicted, it seems. And he's like, I'm with you in this infliction. I won't leave you behind. I'm with you here more than you're able to understand, because I have put on the darkness where you feel forsaken, rejected. I know what that feels like. He took on the measure of the world, it seems. The measure of the world of what? What it feels like to be forsaken, rejected by your Father. What a contrast to go from knowing, being in complete union and harmony with the Father, Jesus being in this intimate place with the Father, going from that place back to us. Because he's like, you're not going to be able to get yourself from where you are to where I am, meaning from what you know to what I know. That's why I have to come in and put on what you don't know and put on what you do know and wear the lies, right? Put on where you are and how you're confused about yourself. And then we have to walk out this thing together. He leaves the 99, comes after the one. I don't think anyone's story, I don't think anyone's Christian story is that they found a way out themselves. I think the longer you walk with God, you will see that He had to carry you out of where you were because you were so tangled up in it. I've been so tangled up in it for so long. I really want to convey that because it's really hitting me. The Jesus that's walking with you, the Jesus that is walking with me, knows what it feels like. He knows why you feel the way that you feel. And He's not in this way of leading you, trying to get you to not feel how you feel. But He seems to be one that in the way of leading us out is putting on what we feel and relating to us there and have intimacy there. He has come and honored me in these places of shame. Where I've been shamed, He has come in with honor, and it is very confusing. And He is with me in that confusion. He's not trying to get me or you to get anything, but He is with you where you are in the understanding of yourself, like He is with me in the understanding of myself. He is with you face to face. I was like, Jesus, you can't relate with me. Because I seem to have been born this way. Born and influenced to believe I'm not enough to such a heavy degree that I feel disfigured. I feel like a stranger. Little did I know, I guess he knew a lot more than I did. I just didn't know that He knew. I was just like, you can hear the gospel in so many different ways, I guess. We can try to understand the gospel in so many different ways. But where are you and where you can't lead yourself out, that you need someone to be face to face with you? Not giving you instructions or a map or some kind of guide to get yourself out, but showing you, hey, I'm with you in this tangled up mess. And the mess isn't you, but you're in the mess. And you've been infected by this mess. You have been infected, you've been affected. But I'm going to be with you right here. And the end game is not getting you to do different things. The end game is knowing that I was always with you face to face. That my love comes in and has met you where you are and continues to meet you where you are and is walking with you where you are. He's told me He makes all things new. You've heard that. It's in the Bible, right? Who knew that the beginning of all things becoming new is the confrontation of all things old? Meaning the beginning of a new familiar is to let go of an old familiar. Old ways of thinking about yourself, the perspective that you've had of yourself, that it's not your fault that you have this perspective of yourself. You're tangled up in darkness. And Him actually making all things new is coming into the old, the familiar of where you are, and saying, I'm going to build trust with you right here. You can't get to me. I'm not asking you to get to me. I'm the God that comes to you. And this seems to be the embodiment of the Father's heart. That is Jesus. Jesus is the embodiment of the Father's heart. Forgive them, Father, for they don't understand. If you knew the truth, if you really knew it, you wouldn't have been affected and infected the way that you have been. You wouldn't be tangled up in these things. It's not your fault that you don't know the truth. You haven't known the truth. I think this is how you find the personal Jesus. Your very own personal Jesus. Not the one who does what you want when you want it, but the one that is face to face with you, where you really are. His likeness can't help but rub off on you. And you're like, I would think I was made for something else other than this dark place. But I don't know how to get there. I don't know the way. And we're like, I gotta know the way. Tell me the way. Lead me in this way of giving me instructions. And he's like, I don't have to lead you in the way of giving you instructions. I will show you that I'm face to face with you, and every new day is another step in the direction that I'm already having us go in. It has already been thought of and thought out. I know what it feels like to be. I know what it feels like to feel forsaken. And I think in this place where we will have to go through feeling what sin brings on. Go on feeling the weight of where we really are to actually know the truth. I like that I just release videos. I'm not trying to start like a new doctrine or something. This is how I've been touched. And more than anything else, I want to show you, because I believe this is what he is showing me, that he is the God that is with you face to face where you are. Because we need to know a God who is face to face with us where we are. I think more than so many other things. And what that actually entails and the depth of that. The depth you will have to see by being confronted with all the lies that you've believed about yourself. All the things that you've believed to be true and that has left you disfigured, marred in your own way. Maybe I'm the only one. I don't know. I don't think I am. I don't think I am. And I have been in a season, I would call it, I guess maybe he would call it, a simulation of feeling forsaken. To come to know, to grow in the knowing that I was never forsaken. Because when you feel forsaken, you need to know that you're not. And in the need to know, there will be grace to know, so you will know. We don't know these things until we are showed these things. But even before that, it seems to be that you have to know of your need to know these things. When everything is fine and everything is comfortable and you're not experiencing suffering or pain, you don't think that there's not really like a problem Oh, I don't really think about that. I'm not conscious of whether I'm forsaken or not forsaken. But it's when you are suffering that you are brought to your mortality, knowing your mortality, knowing your humanness, knowing is anyone out there caring for me? Is anyone out there with me? There's something about suffering that seems to bring out the subconscious beliefs in a person. And I think this is where Jesus felt it, and that's why he said it in this way, where he said, my God, why have you forsaken me? Not because God forsaked him, not because the Father did that, but because he felt what it felt like, what we have felt in the suffering of feeling forsaken. Has he met you there in that lonely place? Has he met you there in that desperate place? That place that is beyond the help of human aid, the place where you hunger and thirst, but nothing quenches it. I think in that place you will be given ears to hear, yeah, ears to hear, eyes to see. The grace to know that you know that you know. And I think this might be one of those look back situations where I had to walk through a simulation of feeling forsaken with the Jesus who was so personal, because he felt it for me and with me. And he was the only one who knew how to lead me out of that confusing, tangled up situation. But he had to put it on first. He's not just outside the door, he's face to face. He's face to face with you in your suffering and what you were really going through. And not just the physical circumstance that you were in, but the understanding that you have of yourself, the perspective that you have of yourself. And that's where you need him to be. And I believe that's where your gospel message will be your gospel message, and mine will be mine. It will begin with the fire, the salt, the light. He walked with me in a place that no one could walk. He was with me face to face in a place where no one else could be. That just seems to be how my life is set up. It's not awesome. It doesn't feel great. It doesn't feel all that great right now, anyway. But if it doesn't feel all that great for you, and you feel what I'm feeling, then may you receive what I'm receiving, and that you're not alone. You're not alone in how you feel. You have a God who became human to feel what you feel, so that he could understand what you understand, so that you could understand that he understands you, that he understands how you feel, and what that brings about. Meaning it's not going to be about feeling other things. It's going to be about coming and hitting you in the root of your understanding and giving you this knowing that then influences your feeling, that overrides your feeling. I think that's what it is to actually walk by faith, in a way of seeing it like this. I walk increasing in knowing in a place where I feel the opposite, in a place where I see the opposite. Where I see the opposite and I feel the opposite, I need to know that there's a God that is personal, that is face to face with me, that is not from a distance, but he has me by the hand. He says, I know what it feels like because I'm feeling it with you. We're in this together. I'm with you right here. I know the way out. I walked this before you. so that I could feel what you feel, so that I could have intimacy with you where you are. A lot of when we start to suffer or whatever, we're just like, we try to fix it. Or what really just comes out is like, you have forsaken me, God. I hate you. Why did you do this to me? Why? And to think that there's a God that's with you, that's almost like, yes. Yes. Because you're getting to your most authentic, honest feelings. And in your most authentic, honest feelings, you are finding me there, agreeing with you. Not that it's true or false, but recognizing, validating your suffering and saying, I agree with you. This sucks. I'm with you. I feel it too. I've needed a God like that. I've needed to know one who's face to face with me because I've felt all alone.